getting towards the end of our joining season here at Clunes Crossing, and I just wanted to go over a couple of things that we do each year, and are sort of almost doubling down on due to the success of it. One of those is actually using Yearling Bulls. So, and obviously the bull selection is something that's very important. What we've done is broken up the herd into three mobs. One mob being the AI mob, so they're the highest performing cattle on the place, or in the cow herd, and we've selected our AI size. This year we're using Clunes Crossing Dusty M13 for obvious reasons. He still maintains his extremely high ranking and #1 overall ranking in the indexes, as well as being a 7 out of 7 assessed structure. So it's sort of hard not to use him. The early indications from the calves we have from him from last season are that they are born easy, born light, and they grow incredibly quickly, and others are having similar success with M13, so he's an obvious choice. We've also used Baldridge Compass, which is a sire out of the US, and we've selected him because he has all of the maternal traits we're looking for. He's got positive fat, he's an early maturing calf, whereas M13's probably a early to mid maturing, and a fairly large frame. Baldridge, we've got a line of cows here that are later maturing that I want to just moderate and bring that back a little bit. And Baldridge has that in spades, also very high growth. So he's a sire that I'm very enthusiastic about adding to the program here. So just the two bulls. We've used a little bit of Texas Mount again this year. I'm a little bit concerned about Texas Mount. He went from being a fairly good all-round bull to having extremely negative eye muscle, which was not predicted. So I'm not sure what went wrong there, but that's certainly how the figures have turned out. So I've got a lot of his straws, but I've backed off using them just because of that fact. So we really do want to breed positive traits in all areas when using AI sires. So Dusty M13, Baldridge Compass are the two AI sires, and with that particular cow mob, we're backing them up with one particular Yearling Bull. He's M16, and what I like about him is he's early maturing. He's 7 out of 7 assessed by Dick Whale structurally, and he has a really good solid set of EBVs to throw across. So and that's effectively when we're talking about selecting which animals to keep, and whether they be cows or which bulls to use, they must pass those filters. So yes, they need to be very strong figures wise. I'm not going to be joining something that's actually going to send our genetic improvement backwards. They need to be assessed a 6 or a 7 structurally, and we're using Dick Whale out of Victoria for those assessments, and they need to be genetically heading the herd in the direction that we want to. So all of those three, so we're not going to be breeding any problems into the herd. It's a hard selection process. Very few animals actually sort of pass that test. So the AI cows and the AI bulls have the young sire we're using over our AI cows. Whilst he's probably not as high in EBVs as I would have liked, he doesn't send any of the EBVs backwards. Very strong maternally growth. His fat figures, his carcass figures are all very solid without being extreme. So that's what we're doing with the AI herd. Young M16. He's been over with them now. He'll be coming out next week. So they are AI'd on the 1st of November. He'll come out of there exactly 43 days later, having covered 2 21-day cycles from the cows. Anything that's not pregnant in that cow herd then will actually be sold, be culled. We do need to think about the fertility and the ability for a cow to fall pregnant quickly or return to service quickly, and that's something that we're breeding into the herd as well. So he'll come out, and then we'll wait for another 60 days or potentially even only 30 days and do another scan for pregnancy in that mob. The other mob that we have of cattle that we're keeping, they just weren't quite in good enough condition for the AI. They've still passed all of their genetic their structural testing, so anything above a 5 has kept them in the herd. And we've again used 2 of our young promising yearling bulls to back those guys up, to back those that cow herd up. There's approximately 40 cows in that mob. And then in behind, I'm not sure if you can see them, but in behind we've got our sale cows. So we've sold off anything that isn't pregnant. We've sold off all the culls. They've gone. We've now got just the surplus to need cows in the background there. And they're being backed up by another 2 very promising young yearling bulls, and they'll be sold as preg-tested in calf, and we'll probably do that as soon as so what we've got to do with this mob is take their calves off them, so when they're ready we'll probably be weaning them a little bit earlier this year. We'll test them for pregnancies, and if they're pregnant and they're looking in good shape, we'll sell those as preg-tested in calf cows. Anything that doesn't come up and isn't in the right condition or isn't pregnant we'll be selling as culls. So that will probably happen in towards the end of January that we have them up for sale. And in and amongst those the cow herds, we have some pregnant heifers that will be going on to embryo transfer donors. So we've got a handful of those currently pregnant to M13. So very excited about getting those calves off. We've got a couple of heifers in being as donors in at the Sedwise program, which is very handy and close to us here at Delvine. They're just the other side of Stanthorpe. So they've been in there. We sent over 7 cows to be recipients. So they've all had their embryos in, and we'll be doing one more collection from those 2 heifers. When they're very exciting young heifers. Being that they were assessed 7 out of 7, very good figures as well, without being extreme. But we've got a few heifers that are extreme. We've just given them 1 calf, and they'll be going into embryo transfer, which is another sort of minor shift in our program here, where we will be having embryos for sale continuously, and we'll have donor cows in Sedwise's program for collection continuously from now on. So we've identified approximately 10 animals that are ideal for that, different bloodlines, all assessed perfect structurally, and all with very, very solid figures with no known defects, both in their EBVs and obviously in their DNA. They've all had genomic testing. So that's effectively the program, and one of the biggest changes we're introducing this year is a very short exposure to the bulls, and then anything not pregnant we'll be selling under the belief that that trait is actually heritable. We do want to only maintain cows that fall pregnant quickly and obviously deliver a good healthy calf. We want a condensed calving program. We're finding that anything that was sort of born maybe in the 3rd cycle, those calves never really reach their potential. And that's not exactly desirable. So we'll be culling far more harshly than what we have in the past. All of the bulls out after 40. We're going to leave them in around that 42 days, 43 days, and then they're out. And they'll go back into our program for sale in the sale bulls in August of 2019. It also keeps the bulls in good condition. When you leave them there for too long and they come out after working the cows as a yearling in poor condition, it's much more difficult to get them up, and they just don't sort of keep up with the rest of the bulls that haven't been into that program. So that's effectively what we're doing right now. That's the state of play. Next week, taking the bulls out. Very happy with our selecting and breaking up. I call it a filtering process as to which cows are going to go where. The 35 heifers that were retained, where they're going to go, and what we're going to join them to. I'm very happy with the way the genetic improvement is happening year on year. And this year is probably the first year that we'll actually be just keeping only the very best and developing a cow herd, which is just so incredibly important that we get the cow herd right. It's very easy to select bulls. We have selected a bull from the US, and he's still running around over there, but he'll be dropping calves here. Have been doing that for many years. So bulls are incredibly important, but only 50% of the equation. The cow herd, we will end up probably in next year's program, only cows assessed as 6 or 7s out of 7, structurally, only with beneficial EBVs and profitable EBVs, and only that are highly fertile and proven to be dropping calves on the ground, having fallen in the 1st or 2nd cycle. So yeah, that's the program. Very happy with the way it's heading. You can see condition-wise, we had that beautiful rain in October, which sort of took us out of being in those sort of desperate no feed type scenario that we were in throughout winter. We come out with a fantastic start in October, and now, unfortunately, you probably see in the background, we're now back to just sort of using the feed that grew in October and back to hand feeding again. There is some rain forecast next week. We have been able to find some hay from down on the coast, actually, not too far away, reasonably priced, and it's really good hay. And we've pre-ordered some of that as well, another couple of loads. So we're sort of feeling comfortable if this drought really takes hold that we'll be able to get through that. And just maintaining the animals that we need here for the future planning and future breeding purposes. So that's a wrap on what we're doing at the moment. I know I haven't been sort of producing a lot of videos recently, but we'll sort of be getting back into it. Life's been a little bit busy. It's certainly, I want to do a video next on that whole heifer selection. I've done a little bit in the past, but now just sort of giving a bit more of the reasons why we run the program we do, and we're very careful about which of the heifers that we're going to be carrying through into the cow herd and the further development of the cow herd. So I'll be doing another video on that shortly. But that's it from now. For now, from Clunes Crossing.